comfortably uncomfortable. Be brave to become a beginner over and over again. Growth comes from discomfort. First, sit uncomfortably with the fact that if you want growth, experience life, and explore your fullest potential, you must really lean into the idea of being uncomfortable. Your goal in life should be to make yourself constantly uncomfortable. Now, let's be clear. I definitely do not mean to be constantly stressed out, reckless, or miserable. I mean being intentionally uncomfortable in order to stretch yourself and see how far you can push it. You will be pleasantly surprised when you find out, once you're out of the trenches, that you were capable all along. And if you fall on your face trying, then so be it. It's the greatest lesson. Failure is inevitable and part of the process of learning. Be comfortable with failure, because every meaningful thing I have ever gained in my life came from a period where I was uncomfortable and sometimes in deep, dark bliss of feeling I have no idea what I'm doing. But remember, your brain is wired to win. So looking into the darkness, you will notice your eyes adjust and you find the light. Comfort equals to stagnation. Think about physical fitness. Nobody wakes up feeling excited to do the hard workout on the days they're exhausted. Nobody looks at a warm, cozy bed and thinks, you know what? Push-up sounds like a great idea now. Exercise is uncomfortable. Your muscles burn, you feel breathless at times, and you stretch yourself beyond what feels natural. But that's exactly why it works. And it's always rewarding, and your feelings change right after. Feelings are quite unreliable friends, you see. The ebbs and flows of feeling constantly change. You can't wait to feel a certain way in order to do or be. The same principle applies to your brain. Learning something new is uncomfortable. Starting as a beginner, looking stupid, and making mistakes are all grossly uncomfortable feelings. But every skill you have ever mastered started from feeling incompetent. When I look back at my own life, almost every major growth period came from doing something that felt uncomfortable at first. I studied biochemistry first, then I went into computer information system. Those are two very different worlds. Learning an entirely new field forced me to stretch my thinking and develop skills I didn't have before. Moving cities, countries, taking on a new role at work, changing careers, and becoming parents were all uncomfortable adjustments at first. But that's exactly why those experiences change us and skyrocket our growth and maturity through new learnings. The bigger the leap, the bigger the growth. For those of us who weren't born into royalty or handed a roadmap to success, growth often comes disguised as extra work. A lot of people spend their lives trying to eliminate work. I think that's the wrong goal, because work is often where the growth lives. The difficult project, the new responsibility, certification, side hustle, or relocation, none of those things feel comfortable while you're doing them, because they expand your limit in ways comfort never can. And to expand is to experience more of life. After all, life is meant to be experienced and lived. Everything worth having begins with being uncomfortable. I see this happening in our lives over and over again whenever we make any changes or take a leap. For example, buying a house is a tremendous amount of work. Research, calculation, inspection, negotiation, paperwork, and decision making. But underneath all that work is learning something new, which equals to growth. We're learning new things and developing skills we didn't have before. We are making decisions at a level we have never had to make before. And growth almost always comes packaged inside effort. Parenthood is another perfect example. You read all the books and listen to all stories about how to raise your kid, then when your child arrives, all knowledge goes out the window. Every parent, kid, and circumstance is different, and it's constantly changing environment where every stage comes with new learning curve. Just when you think you have figured something out, your child changes and you're back to learning curve again. But that's what keeps us all growing. Interestingly, we instinctively understand this when it comes to our children. We encourage them to join sports, enroll in music lessons and art, and always introduce new experiences. Why? Why do we do that? Because we know stretching their limits help them grow. We know instinctively that trying new things develop confidence, resilience, creativity, and problem-solving skills. We understand that growth comes from challenges. But somewhere along the way, many adults stop applying the same logic to themselves. We follow the rules society expects from us, get a degree, join the workforce, pay bills, and settle into routines. We become good at what we already know, but then we slowly stop stretching. The funny thing is that our brain don't care how old we are. They still grow when we challenge them. Take a dance lesson or a singing lesson with your child or a friend. Get an accountability partner or go solo and pick up a paintbrush or learn AI. Start a small business or try a new recipe. Read books outside your usual interests. Be brave to create something imperfect. As long as you consistently do it, it's going to be inevitable progress. Every new skill keeps your mind alive. I honestly think one of the secrets to staying young is continuing to learn. Not because learning magically stops aging, but because curiosity keeps you engaged with life. The moment we stop learning, we start shrinking. Growth is awkward. I don't think we are ever meant to arrive at the magical place where everything is comfortable forever. I think that's a myth. Many of us spend years believing that once we get a degree, the promotion, the house, the relationship, financial stability, or retirement, we'll finally reach permanent comfort. But every time we arrive at one milestone, life presents another opportunity to grow. That's how the natural system is designed. Think of an apple. Its journey starts in the darkness underground. It is slowly nourished by water and sunlight, grows into a tree, gets pollinated, and eventually becomes a fruit. Then it's picked up by a farmer, packaged and distributed, ends up in your refrigerator, and is eventually eaten. The remaining seeds are discarded, finds their way back into the earth, and the cycle begins again. At which point do you think the apple thought, I have reached my destination? Don't you see? It's all about the journey. Growth requires stretching, and stretching requires discomfort. So maybe the goal isn't to reach comfort and stay there. Maybe the goal is to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because growth, learning, and becoming stronger all comes from discomfort. And if we are honest, that's where the most interesting parts of life happen. The goal is to experience as much of life's journey as possible through growth and expansion. It just so happens that growth has always lived just outside your comfort zone. This is Maisha Taranum. Thank you so much for listening to my blog post.